Hi, everyone. This is the bi-weekly K8s-Infra meeting, and we are June 4th. Welcome to everyone new to this call. And as a reminder, this meeting is under the code of conduct, which means you need to be amazing to each other during this call. Before we start, do we have a note taker? Someone to volunteer to be a note taker? Oh, that's fine. No one? That's fine. Okay. Which means we'll go. There's one thing like wait, we do this. Okay, please add yourself to the attendee list. So basically we know who was in the meeting. It's kind of important. People neglect this, but it's really important because that we use the attendance metric in the annual report. So please add yourself in the attendee list. Any new person willing to introduce himself or herself or themselves?
Hi, I'm Jonathan Albrecht. I'm here from the Linux on Z team from IBM.
Oh, okay. Welcome.
I'm Rishi. I'm from the same team as John from IBM Linux on Z team. We are here to sort of observe what this meeting is about and just to get some understanding of the infra.
Okay. Yeah, the meeting is about basically go over the different, I would say, goal, task, and objective of the SIG, which is about operating the portfolio of service provider we have. So IBM, Fastly, Azure, the sort of team. So we basically go over, and we also need to do triage over the different requests from the different SIG, and I can go on the things we do over time, which is kind of boring, but yeah, need to be done.
Got it. Thanks.
Okay. What have we done? Billing review. I think I need to chop this from the. Wait, let me jump this for the. Okay. So billing review. We start with Mario. Is there anything you want to say to us before? I think I saw Mario, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, the only I'm just now doing it for this week. The only thing that was strange in the past time was that we overspent a little bit, or not overspent, but we used an unusual amount of resources in DigitalOcean. So if we would continue spending this amount in DigitalOcean, we will run out of budget before the end of the year. But we already raised this, I think, 2 weeks ago, and pinged the folks who are maintaining the DigitalOcean stuff, and I pointed out basically the file or a file that creates all of this in DigitalOcean. And I will just ping them again and then see if anything in the investigation brought something up. So the goal would be that we get it down to below $1,000 a month again. I also pinged Lachli from Microsoft that we can eventually get rid of this Windows Defender bill that we have in our Azure monthly cost, because we are currently paying for every instance that is running in Azure Microsoft Defender fee. And
Yeah.
he promised to me that he will get rid of this charge for us, and I'm trying to chase him down to that we
Okay.
get.
Can you have like a GitHub issue for this? Because I think it's happening because it's like some default setting somewhere in the subscription. So I would say if you it would be great if you have a GitHub issue to track
Yeah.
and we can follow up on it.
I will
Just make sure we're tracking that somewhere. We don't forget about it. Okay. Beside that, is there like I don't basically want to go over GCP billing because I don't see any change over the last. I don't see a big change over the last 3 months, so I'm like maybe skip it.
I have looked at it, and we only digress by a couple of thousand. So we are between 36,000 to 34,000 per week spent, which is way. So we still have a lot of headroom, and the only spikes that we have is if there's a release.
Okay.
For the past
Okay.
month.
There's
So
a
we are fine from GCP side, and the same goes for AWS. So there's nothing to worry about AWS or GCP for the last months, which is great.
I have something I want to add to that. So last week or so, we rolled out some CI improvements. So we've started migrating the CI to the newest and the fastest available VMs from Google. We're seeing some markedly fast improvements in all the CI jobs that we're running on Google Cloud nodes. We were using basically what they call N1 instance family. This was released 10 years ago. We've never upgraded it. So the build clusters are now running the latest C4 instances, C4, C4D, C4A. So the fastest VMs that Google's got to offer, and it's really good. You might see a difference in the mix shift of the cost, but it's roughly around the same.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we will see that by end of June because right now I don't think I'm worried. I did the calculation, should be fine.
New hardware though is capacity constrained, so I'm doing some shenanigans to make sure that we don't run into situations where pods are stuck pending because the nodes are not available. So there were some mitigations that were put in place.
I would say be very patient with GCP support.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, be very, very patient. I saw the ticket you create, like be very, very patient with GCP support because they take the time to deal with those kind of things.
Yeah, this particular request triggered some conversations with salespeople apparently because we're using especially the C4 machine types are very capacity constrained, so they would like to know more about our usage and see what they can do for us. But I'm having that conversation. Should be solved soon.
Can you in your conversation CC Ben about this?
I will.
Because I feel like Ben can make some internal calls and shenanigans to unlock. Even Ben, we want TPU v7. Do something.
I see.
I'm joking.
Yeah, that's probably way over my head. Yeah, I think we're seeing some issues with these ones that we recently adopted, like C1, C4, because they're like the newest VM family. So they're like being phased in the data center.
Yeah, I think pretty sure it's a matter of like hardware at GCP level where basically they didn't roll out on every data center. That's why there's capacity constraints. So, but I would say, yeah, just trying to CC someone. Ben might be redirect you to people. I don't know.
That's way above my pay grade.
Okay, talk to someone, Ben. Talk to someone.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Go for one, Mario.
From a spend perspective, so the difference in GCP from last week, so until Friday to the week before, was $25.
Do we have like month to month or something? We have like pretty spiky workloads, so week to week tends to not like you'll have like the release pending or
I
something.
can
like,
create month to month. Currently, we don't have month to month, but I can create a month to month thing.
okay. Or the like over the course of the year or something, like good
Yeah.
trends. We tend to have to look kind of long term because I don't know, something comes up and then CI gets a big spike and then that throws the numbers, like the release is pending and there's a big code freeze surge, or we had a bunch of CI jobs like failing early last week, which probably saved us money. Because all of the kind jobs were just crashing out early, so they're not doing anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I can create month to month. I'm currently working on the report, so I can also do a month to month report.
Thanks.
Okay, are we done with GCP? I think. I wait here. I think AWS is gonna be like the same thing. I don't see anything changing in May compared to April, so I'm guessing everything is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Any question for AWS? We got for billing for I would say the aspect of billing, not the technical one. Okay, good. Nice. Yeah. Okay, so about updates, we have a pending approval. Okay, for context, we reached out to Datadog because we are interested to leverage a feature they have in part of product, which is called Cloud Costs, which is about basically collect all the billing data from different cloud provider. I think currently they support the 3 major ones. So I'm interested to basically look if we could leverage that to have a central dashboard for the billing cost. So we are currently in a pending approval. I would say, yeah, pending approval. So we should get more news next week. Yeah. That's it. They don't support every cloud provider, just to be clear. And basically, because I would say I didn't see DigitalOcean, IBM. Yeah. Also, I didn't see Fastly from the billing data. So I think we can like start with like just the 3 major and talk to them, see if we can like add more proper over time. And that's it for me for the updates. Yeah. In the notes, like we did change up the CI for the instance type of CI cluster last week. So we see data and stuff like that over this month. Okay. Before we jump on open discussion, any question? Okay, nice. So let's do some triage. Okay, I kind of defined something for current milestone, which is 134. I will not do everything, but I'm curious about this one. I think, yeah, my question is going to be for Ben. I think we can close this one, right? Close. Which one is like? Yeah.
I'd have to double check. I feel like I've been doing passes through these and closing out the ones that can be. I'm not sure if we actually got this closed out.
I think because we migrate the control plane for the CI and everything run inside the community cluster infrastructure.
Yeah,
That's
I think there were other references though.
Yeah, I feel like this is
checking.
big. Yeah, this is becoming a GCP problem, not us.
No, I don't mean that. I mean in the project. If it was just GCP, that's separate. Like if I look right now, I can still see references in code search.
Come on.
Yeah. Like it wasn't only used for Prow.
Mm. That way,
Perf
can
tests is
Google
still using it.
okay, can you basically shut down this project? It's gonna be 30 days of shutdown window. You shut it down and basically wait for the fire to trigger and people reach out. Because I don't
I
think people care about this.
No,
I
I mean
feel like
this
we're
is
gonna
going to break us. There's a test infra pre-submit that's using this still. We can't merge code and test infra if we turn this off. The community is not done migrating off of this registry. I'm
Which
looking right now. There's a Gubernator. It's like the Gubernator test is still running from GCRAO K8s test images. Like there's plenty of references still.
do we
It
even
looks like kind
run the
needs to move.
Kubernetes tests? Can we get rid of that stuff? Because we don't use it anymore.
It's indirectly enforcing a different policy. It's requiring right now that you configure the test grid for the PR blocking jobs explicitly.
Do you
At
want
least
to
some
take
of
that
the
logic
tests related to
elsewhere?
that. Hmm?
You want to take that logic elsewhere and put it in the unit tests?
I think we have one, but I want to double check that because that is actually important. We've been discussing in SIG testing doing something else, but it's been hard to pin down exactly what, and it's been valuable in the meantime that like if you create a job that always runs and Kubernetes PRs that is required, there is at least those go through some additional approval currently.
okay.
I don't know. I like it's one of those things like we need bandwidth for this, and there are plenty of references because this used to host like a bunch of just we use for builds. So I'm like still scrolling through these. A lot of repos are using this in their cloud builds still. Some of them like I'm familiar with and can do something about maybe if I get a little bit of time, but other of these like I don't know what's going on in cloud provider OpenStack. Uh, there's a lot of
It
references still. I don't think we can shut this down yet.
okay. I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm gonna be say something bad here, but we should shut it down. So trigger the fire so we bring attention to the community that basically we need to get away from this.
I
Otherwise,
mean,
no one will touch this.
but
We have a one is 30-day window. We can
from
shut
a
this
Kate's
down.
Infra perspective, the project doesn't gain anything there, right? It would
Yeah.
save Google some money, but like I, I'm here from Google and I have no interest in breaking this, and I'm not worried about the spend on this.
Okay. So we leave this forever. Well,
No, I mean it would be good to like we should move to images that the project actively controls and publishes to and is being patched. We should eliminate those, but I don't think we should do it by creating a fire. Uh-huh. And some of these
backfires.
are like, I mean, like building kind, all the staging builds. A lot of staging builds are using an image from Test Infra. The perf tests are something I really don't want to break that like they need to move, and I don't know if there's a replacement for this image. Looks like they're using some pretty old stuff.
Okay.
Like one of them appears to be an old mirror of a Quay image with the Prometheus operator. Who knows? It like that sounds like something someone manually pushed way back when. So it will probably take some time to figure out replacements for these.
Okay.
We should file issues with these projects.
I would say I don't. Okay. So yeah, that's not really a priority in that case. Uh, Same problem. The thing is here in next month, GCI is going away.
Yeah,
So
but if it was a Google internal thing, there was a they to avoid that kind of embarrassment, there was a forced migration. Everything that is Google owned is on Artifact Registry.
Okay.
with the in-place migration. So none of these are going to just stop working.
Okay, so we can shut it. We can close this
They
because I
might
feel like
break in the future for some other reason, like I'm not working here anymore, and someone came along and said, "Why do you have a public read registry?" I don't know, but like they're not. That isn't coming anytime soon, as far as I know.
okay.
So it's best practice for the community to be moving onto images we control, because also any image we're using here has not been patched in who knows how long since we stopped pushing there. So that's a good enough reason for people to stop using this, but it's not like super urgent.
I don't think we need to do something about this. So I kind of want to close this issue because I'm like, I don't exactly know.
I'm of the opinion that we did the work to migrate anything that SIG K8s-Infra and SIG testing directly rely on, right? And
Yeah.
anything that is considered like a foundational block of the infrastructure of the CI, like we could close this ticket today and the group here won't really have issues, right? But the people,
I mean, kind builds, for example, are still running on this. Apparently, I didn't know, and perf tests is running on this, and that's like
perf test isn't this group though, is what I'm saying, right? It's not testing over infra, right? It's a different group that.
But testing and infra were providing these images that these groups are depending on. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't own this registry.
Did we tell them where the new images are?
I mean, it looks like we were just migrating these individually ourselves. I don't think we've filed things with each of these repos and said, hey, you need to stop using this image.
We opened an issue about this a long time ago, and I don't think people care about this, if I remember correctly.
Honestly,
So
no one's gonna care till a CI build goes red. Like, let's be honest,
yeah.
right? This is what's gonna happen.
No. Look, I just looked in perf tests. No one has filed an issue that says Kate's test images in it. So no one said you need to move off of this registry. And we were providing this registry. I mean, it was hosted inside of Google, but like SIG testing and K8s-Infra were like, owning those image builds.
Okay.
And some of them don't. I think some of them don't have replacements currently. Like, I didn't know about this. There's some that look like someone like mirrored some images from Quay.io, and it's. I mean, that's the cluster loader. I mean, that's like some of our key scale testing. We don't want to break that.
Fun question. How much stuff is actually public, currently actively maintained projects that we just clone because somebody thought it was a good idea, versus how many images are actually images that we built ourselves and the code base lives somewhere in the Kubernetes GitHub org?
So a bunch of these references are to, like, for example, Kurti or like Parabolos, or like, things that we do build, the GCP, Docker, gcloud. There are a few that are these other things that I'm not sure. But
Like,
like,
for example, I saw Grafana there, for example, like that really should never been there in the first place. We should have pulled the public Grafana image.
right. So for perf tests, I think that one's a little bit more complicated than you start out. For a lot of these other ones that look like, I mean, we could send them a PR and say, yeah, you can get this image here instead, like Parabolos or GCB, Docker, gcloud, or something.
Yeah, those are well understood images that we've migrated.
But there are some other ones where I'm not sure. But most of those references are that. Most of the references are like, the GCP Docker image that was like testing / infra building an image for doing builds. And those are straightforward. But there's some other ones that I'm not sure. There are not too many repos though. I think we should file bugs. So I'm gonna start doing that.
I did one for perf test. Oh, we should. Okay, so we keep this for this milestone. That's good. I think we are done here, right?
I don't think so.
Really?
Didn't we only roll this out for some of them?
We don't have a staging policy. We don't have a retention policy for the repo migrate to Alpha registry? I thought we had one set up during the migration. Or we need to define one.
Mohammed,
Sorry, can you say that again?
the retention policy for staging images, I think
That
that's
For
is,
staging.
that is set. If you go to, yeah, we do. It's currently set. So if you go to, not even click Cloud Console, open the Git repo.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
Then
Alright.
open the K8s staging images layer. You will find it in there. Scroll down.
Oops, to I was meant to for staging images.
Staging. Go to registries.tf. So what we do is go down here, right there, line 63 all the way down to 70.
Yeah, but my question is for the old registry where we
Oh,
did the
okay.
migration.
So that one, what we're gonna do is in here, we've defined that project as code using some janky shell scripts. So when we rewrite those is when I'm gonna do that. And I am planning on doing that soon-ish. Now I've done it on a case-by-case basis. I am looking at the billing report and seeing which projects have unreasonable artifact registry usage.
Yeah.
Magic figure is if a project accrues more than $50 in artifact registry, then they're holding too many images. So there's something funky happening in that project, and it needs to have lifecycle policies manually enabled right now. The community was already told anyway, like,
Yeah.
hey, our registry migration was done. Expect 60 day retention all the images. That's it.
Okay.
If I do activate it, it won't be a surprise. The outliers was the CI build that we did every 5 minutes. Our project at one point was holding 25 terabytes of images, which should now have disappeared
Okay.
in more than 90 days. And that project, like the other project, has a special special configuration set on there. Instead of 90 days or 60 days, it's set to a week or a month, I think. It'll reap images a lot quicker. I met with SIG release and they were happy with that change.
Okay, so I think we can. Okay, I will leave that to you. I'm
Sorry,
guessing.
what's quicker now?
There's one project, the CI images for Kubernetes itself.
Uh-huh.
They build like every several times an hour, so
Yeah.
it's holding too many images.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I met with SIG release and told them, hey, can I reduce the duration from the standard 60 days to like a month or like a week? And I said, okay.
Got it.
It's not the images they use for promotion. It's the images that they use.
The periodic CI build that can be consumed by
Yeah.
other jobs. Yeah.
Yeah.
For people in the call, SIG release are basically periodic job that build Kubernetes. I think it's like every 4 hours or every hour. I don't remember. And that basically make the container registry growing over big numbers. So yeah. Okay, I will leave this to you. So this one, I think that was that was Marco, right? Yeah. What's happening here? Okay. I think we need to talk about this again, right?
Yeah, we
Okay.
do need. I mean, it's on the top of my priority, that and documenting the instance size. I have been a bit away. I think I should be back next week to have some time for that. So I'll do my best so that we get something out as soon as possible and
Yeah,
that we figure out how we're doing there.
let's pick something with like 8 cores, 64 gigs of memory with local SSDs attached to it for both AMD and ARM, and the fastest generation available, or the latest generation available.
I think the question is not which instance we need to pick, it's more like make the change. I think that's basically, there's no bandwidth to make the change right now because it's gonna take like, yeah, it's not. I think we had this conversation somewhere about that. I want to pick.
I believe we use Carpenter for the node pool, so it should be quite easy to onboard a new node pool, talk to Amazon and get the right allocations, orders fixed for
Yeah,
these new types of instances and deploy them.
Okay.
exactly.
Again, yeah, bandwidth issue. So if anyone is willing to open the pull request and like work on this, I don't think you need
Well,
access to the AKS cluster. So if anyone is willing to look into this, feel free to talk to Marco, can guide you.
sure, but I would just like to emphasize that we want to solve this as soon as possible so that we can document things. This is what is the most important, because if we document something, if we document what we have right now and people get used to it, then we will have problem to make any change. The problem that we have with the EKS cluster is that we are using massively oversized instances. So like we are using much more CPU and RAM than we actually need, and we pay quite a lot for that. So this is not the state, perhaps most like this is not the state that we want to document it, that we want to share to users and to contributors. Like, yeah, this is what you can use, because this is not something that we want in the end. So it is important to get this cleaned as soon as possible. And yeah, I think from my side, this is the top priority to get it as soon as possible. I might have some time this week, I can't promise, but next week for sure, I will try to run some calculations and to find the instance size. So I will try to follow up on that.
Okay, so we will check into weights. Next is Ben.
Oh, yeah. I think this is not the absolute highest priority, but it would be consistent with how we're managing the registries. Like we expect that the image promoter is supposed to be requiring immutable tags already, but since we're using artifact registry can enforce immutable tags for us and give us some more like defense and depth on like no surprise actual prod changes, especially because we have so many regions. I really don't think we want to find out like, whoops, there's different content between them or something again. It's something we should consider. It's definitely a little more of like a backlog item. There's some other like on that. I think stronger would probably be the ticket to reevaluate backup policy. Like at some point it would be good to do something like have a no privilege job that just creates a snapshot into like AWS somewhere private that like users can't pull from, but we'd have like a known good copy of our like decades worth of production released images. I don't think that all of the stuff we had like that is in good shape following some of the infra migrations. So I think right now we're pretty reliant on like don't break the copy we have in prod. If someone did somehow break it or gain access or whatever, I don't think we have a good way to restore right now. I think that's more important than this immutable tags feature. If we have time to mess with the prod images.
We had a backup job before, but it was only focused on GCR. I don't know about artifact registry
Yeah,
when
and
we basically migrate. So I don't.
the other thing is like
Yeah.
killer domain, the backup job is most useful if it's like super isolated. So like even if you like if we could now that we have multiple cloud providers, if we could dump a copy into like Amazon or like Azure privately, so we don't have to worry about egress cost, just storage cost. And like maybe keep some number of snapshots that are separate that don't get overwritten. And like I don't know, garbage collect out, something like that. So that basically you have even if the artifact registry is compromised, then we can just like sync over the content from the last snapshot that we stored in another cloud with where the like there's no creds to it or something. I think right now, like if you compromise Prow or something, you have like way too much access, and even if we had the backup job working, which I'm not sure if it is, you could also just like stomp the backups. It would be good if we could like make something super simple and standalone just to like keep a periodic backup that we can restore from. Like, for example, with
but
GitHub,
just
we actually have that by way of GitHub themselves.
Mm.
Part of the emergency planning is if something really terrible happens with the repos, we will like reach out to GitHub wherein like the project is in contact with them and they have some ability to like revert things. If it's like, you know, super high profile problem like that. But for the
Okay.
container images or the binaries, I don't think we have that. If we have that looking good, then I would follow with let's turn on immutable tags, because that's like probably a pretty low effort way to add a little bit more assurances.
Okay. Yeah. Can we have an issue for the backup thing? We can like
I think I have
discuss it.
one.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have an issue for the backup thing that I filed after that one.
See what's duplicate. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and talking about it now has made me realize we're probably in the same state for the binaries. I don't think we have a backup
What?
for dlocate.io.
Yeah, because we stopped pushing the binaries to GitHub. So yeah.
Yeah, those are both kind of like, I personally don't have much spare time at the moment and I have to invest in other areas of the project, but uh I think these would be really good ones. I think we should even consider filing something like this as a starter test, because the whole point should be that they should be pretty isolated, right? Like we should figure out like, I don't even think we want to run this as a CI job, right? We want to have a separate failure domain for the backup. Just something totally standalone that's like, yeah, just like take a snapshot. They're not that big. I think last time I checked, the entirety of the like artifact registry for a production one was like a terabyte or something. So storage costs for that are going to be like negligible for us. We could like, you know, keep some version backups that get garbage collected out somewhere, but we need like something that dumps those and some very simple isolated automation somewhere. And it would be a good idea if it were in like different clouds and, you know, just some failure domain stuff. We've gotten by pretty well on Kubernetes can provide all of the images we've ever released and they're still available. And if we lost that, it would be really hard for the project to like, even just the current supported releases, getting all of them like rebuilt and pushed again and stuff. The closest thing we have right now is for some of the production release stuff. There's like tarballs of them in the binary host. I don't think that really counts, and most of the subprojects don't have that. So there's a lot of eggs in that one basket right now.
Okay. I think the one constraint is basically we need to be able to figure out no CI registry somewhere.
I don't even think we actually need that, right? What we need is a backup of the content. So if you had something that just like walked the registry and dumped it to disk, anything like that, it just needs to be stored in a consumable format. I actually probably wouldn't go with a registry, because a registry won't give you an easy way to have multiple versioned copies. And ideally you would have multiple, because you don't want the backup job to override the backup and like, okay, now it has like the bad copy. You probably want like, even if you just like took a snapshot once a week and garbage collected them after a month or something, we'd still be in way better shape than now that we could like roll back to the copy we have from a week ago. And it will be painful, but at least if we have the data, then it's a solvable problem. If we don't have the data, then if the prod registries are broken or compromised or whatever, I mean, there's not much we can do at that point. We can like rip out the known bad images and start trying to populate new ones, but it's a much better problem if we have a copy of the data somewhere and we can figure out how to sync it in. Even if we don't have the tooling to sync it in, it's way more viable to start doing that if we at least have the data. I think that to me, this is one of the most important, not immediately pressing ones that we should be looking at. This feels like a bad gap.
Yeah, Mohammed.
The IBM team's been here for a while, so I'm interested in hearing what they were looking for some help with.
About that?
No,
Hi.
not this, but there were some people from the IBM team that joined us on the call, so they were looking for something. So I want to hear what they are looking for.
Yeah, we're not looking for anything
Wait,
specific.
can we finish 3H first before we
Oh, okay.
do open?
Just
Yeah.
we got
Sure.
10 minutes to go.
Okay. Let's finish 3H and we can like open the door to more conversation.
Oh, okay, cool.
Wait. That's only been. Let me see what's happening here. I can skip a through. We done with. Yeah, that's what's happening here. Because I don't have context, so I'm like, yeah. Mohammed, do you have any idea or any people on
Yes,
the IBM?
the engineers I'm referring to own this thing, so they can tell us more about it.
Any kind of progress? I feel like are we done? Or is it in progress? I don't see any update.
Yeah, I don't have any update on this myself either, actually. So yeah, it's currently in progress.
Okay.
Yeah, my understanding was that we're pending an IBM account that needs to be handed over to CNCF with this S390X VMs and hardware enabled on there. And then
Okay.
once that's done, the team that works on this will build infrastructure similar to how we did for Power Platform. And then we're going to wire it up to our infrastructure, and we should be able to schedule jobs on there directly. And then they're going to run the same set of core unit tests that we run for the main Kubernetes project. And yeah, hopefully they'll have good visibility into what's going on.
Okay. Okay. So it's progressing. I think that's like the TLDR.
Yeah, it's in
Okay.
program.
Okay, good. I give it update about this. Pretty sure we're gonna be done by these milestones. So, yeah, I think I want to stop 3H because there's too many things to go over. Maybe next time I'll do another 3H to like go over the entire board and see what's happening. Okay. Anything else? So we're back to Mohammed. Subject like any IBM folks want something in particular or just curious for as like the first meeting for you?
No, nothing in particular. Yeah, we just want to see how everything works.
Okay, cool. Cool. And the last subject is going to be me. I'm trying to build a sub-project focus on observability of the infrastructure because currently our monitoring stack is not working. Because in the past, we had a monitoring stack focused on basically getting metrics from the CI infrastructure, basically the test cluster, the control plane, and stuff like that. But because we are growing, we kind of expand over 3 to 4 cloud provider. I would like basically something centralized because right now we have this, which is basically a monitoring stack running on the GK cluster. And we also have like, I think it's EKS line. I know the monitoring stack running on EKS. So given that we now have IBM in progress, and hopefully we also gonna get Azure integrate in the CI, I would like basically something centralized. So we have like one endpoint when we can basically see metrics related to jobs and build pro jobs and the different build we run. So it's more like a new subject project I want to bootstrap. So if anyone's interested, just ping me. I'm gonna create an umbrella issue for this and like trying to define what's happening. Yes, Mario.
Just because I can't remember it anymore, because I think we talked last year about this. Marco, didn't Corey prepare something like this that we said that there should be, or the plan is to have like a central monitoring running on the in AKS service cluster or something like this, and some work already has been done by Corey?
I don't think the work has been done, but we would have to check with Corey.
Yeah, there was an intent, that's for sure,
Yeah.
last year, but
Yeah.
it didn't happen. So I would like to reboot this, like basically something. I'm guessing Corey is kind of busy with, I would say, work day stuff. So I'm like, if there are people interested, because there's no, I don't think it's gonna be a standalone sub project. I would like to bootstrap, so I don't think the OGs of the SIG need to be involved. It's more like something where we can you don't need me or Mohammed basically to be involved in this. So that's like the intent here. Like standalone, kind of independent, and there's some kind of technical guidance, and that's it. Any question? Okay, I can give you back 7 minutes of your time. Going once, going twice, and see you in for me it's gonna be in a month, because next meeting I'm not available. So see you next time. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Okay.